Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jennifer Rizzi. I head up content marketing strategy and product marketing for Swag Pro. And I have the pleasure of being joined by Matthew Smith at Milo's Tea today. How are you today, Matthew?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So would you mind just introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your role?
Yeah, so like you said, my name is Matthew Smith. I'm with Milo's Tea Company, based out of Birmingham. I'm the marketing coordinator there, and I help manage our merch and the merch platform at Swag Pro.
Very cool. So can you tell us just how you became involved in launching Milo's online store?
Yeah, so we had a vendor that we were using for our merch site. We've had a merch site since I believe 2020, and we were just looking to upgrade and add some capabilities that you guys had to offer. We wanted a one-stop shop for all of our departments at Milo's, so wanted a place for our merch site for our external users, and then also for our internal users, and then as well having the ability to send kits and whatnot to events, to new hires, to new parents at Milo's. So found Swag Pro, and we really liked everything that you guys offered.
And what were some of your challenges that you encountered with the first vendor that maybe made you want to look for a switch or another solution?
Yeah, I think that there were just some more premium offerings on Swag Pro's portal. I think the portal was a little bit more updated. And then also looking for somebody who could kind of be a fulfillment partner for events, for kits as well, for giveaways, that kind of thing. So really just looking for somebody who had a one-stop shop for everything that we were doing.
And why was it important for you to just want a platform that took care of everything in one solution?
Yeah, I think streamlining things is important. I think it's important for visibility. We have many departments at Milo, so being able to get everybody on the same page of this is who we use for everything. Before you guys, we had people just ordering off of third-party sites, and then that creates issues with making sure that the products are coming out good and clean, that we are liking the way that they're represented in the market. So switching to you guys just allows us to have more clarity. All departments know that we go through y'all for our event or our merch needs. So that was really important to us.
Amazing. And can you just tell us about your career background, how you ended up at Milo's?
Yeah, for sure. So going into my senior year of college, I was doing an internship and got offered a job at a small printing company in Hoover, Alabama. So took that job and did school in the evenings and then worked full time throughout the day. So did that for my senior year and then was there for another year and then was able to get in contact with somebody that works at Milo's. We started having conversations, found out they had a marketing coordinator role open. And I said, I'd love to apply and see if there's a spot for me there. And so applied, got the job, and I've been at Milo's coming up on 4 years in October. So I've been here for a little bit.
Congratulations. And what's the journey been like for you? You know, how have you been kind of affecting change, and what were some of the first projects that you wanted to tackle?
Yeah, so looking back, what I did 3.5 years ago compared to now is kind of way different. So I was helping on just really anything I could get my hands on when I first got here, but now I have a more clear role. Merch has become a very big part of what I do, not only on our merch site, but with events, giveaways. People love having merch internally for just their departments to be able to hand out to people that work here. People at Milo's love wearing Milo's merch. So it has become a really big thing here. Our CEO loves merch. She's all in on it. So one of my main responsibilities over the past 3.5 years has shifted from, I worked on a lot of events when I first started out, and now I'm really deep into the merch space here.
That's incredible. I think companies sometimes underestimate the power of merch for employees and customers. So it sounds like that's something you recognized right away. And how did that come about? Was it something you just kind of discovered as you saw employee engagement, customer engagement, or was that something you noticed in a previous role? Just how did that become a focus area for you?
Yeah, so like I said, the printing company I was with, they actually work with a bunch of different schools, colleges. They would hold events during the summer, and so merch was a really big deal. They would always have hats and T-shirts, pullovers, hoodies, all kinds of good stuff. And so taking that from my previous role coming here and just seeing how much people loved the merch. Our merch, when I first got here, was rather it was a little plain. It was kind of just our red, white, maybe black or gray, and then it would just have like a plain Milo's logo on it. So over the past 3.5 years, we've really changed. Like you can see what I have on here, very different from what I just described. So since we've moved to Swag Pro, our merch has gotten much more creative, trendy. It's like something you would see kind of in a store, something you would want to order. So really just seeing that people love the merch and evolving it into a more craveable and trendy offering has been something that we've really tried to do over the past couple years.
That's really incredible. It sounds like you've made so much progress in that space. And can you talk more about why premium merch is so attractive and so necessary? Like you said, I love how you put it, that it's like something you would see in a brick and mortar store almost.
Right.
And how important just is, having those brand names and something that is going to hold up through multiple washes and wears.
Well, I think that when you go to a show, when you go to an event, you always get merch. And a lot of the merch that you get, quite honestly, is kind of junky, right? Like you're going to throw it in a drawer or you're going to throw it away. You might not use it. So having the premium offerings really helps set you apart, really helps you stand out. And then for us, how we view merch is we want it to be something that people are advertising for us just out in the public. So if they have a polo that's really nice quality that they're going to be able to wash and wear again and again and again, they might have this polo in 5 years still doing advertising for us, and all it cost us was to make the shirt one time. So that's, I think, a strategy that we've kind of utilized, just trying to set ourselves apart with our merch offerings.
And design is a big part of that. Obviously, you mentioned that you revamped the design of a lot of your merchandise. So can you talk about the process of working with Swag Pro on that aspect and your merch manager and account manager?
Yeah, for sure. So they've been super helpful. We have an internal design team that we use, and so they've come up with a lot of our designs, but we've been able to take it to the team at Swag Pro and say, hey, will this work on these different items? Like we had this idea for this all over print, or one thing that just came up is we are doing a pool float. And the pool float is a custom cutout of the gallon jug that we have. It's red with the Milo's name on it. And so being able to take these ideas to them and say, this is something really cool that we want to do, and saying, can we produce it? Can we get it sourced? And then being like, no problem. They'll come back to us in a few days with some different offerings. And, we go through a process, and finally we find an item that we like in our price range, all of that, and we're able to get it sourced. So they've been super helpful in terms of helping with the designs that we want to do and letting us know what's feasible and what's not, and then getting it mocked up on the designs, or on the items, I should say.
And it sounds like that process was pretty quick in your experience.
Yeah, for sure. So most of the time, whenever I request something, I hear back. If I reach out early in the week, I can hear back by the end of the week. Of course, there are some items that are pretty custom, that might be a little odd, that might take a little bit longer, but all turnarounds are pretty quick within a business week.
That's really great. So what were some of those custom items that were maybe harder to find on your own that your merch manager helped you with?
Yeah, so one of them was the keychains that we did. So we did these keychains that has a tea leaf, a lemon, and then I believe our gallon jug on it. So that was one of the items that we needed to custom source. So that was one. This polo was another one, actually. So we didn't just want a standard polo that just had one logo on the front. We wanted an all over design. So they were able to help us source that. A couple other items. We didn't move forward with this one, but one was a golf club head cover, so helped us source that. Some beanies that have an all over design on it, like I mentioned, the pool float, and then some socks as well that have this all over design on them.
That's really awesome. Great job on that. And can you talk about the differences between your internal and external store and what that strategy was like?
Yeah, so on our internal site, we have more offerings. We have everything that's on the external site, but then a little bit more. So internally, we wanted to also include things like notebooks, pens. We have 3 plants that produce the tea and lemonade at Milo's. So we wanted some a water bottle that people can use on the floor. It has to be GMP approved, so I had to source one of those. Swag Pro was awesome in helping us find one. So we have things like that on our internal site, but then on our external site, we have kind of the standard offerings, right? We have hats, we have some shirts, pullovers, I think a couple baby things, and then some drinkware.
That's very cool. Why did you want to keep them separate with separate product lines?
Yeah. We wanted our employees to feel like they have something special that they can go to and get, right? Like we want them to feel like they have access to a few items that nobody else in the world can get. So that's why we wanted to have kind of a differentiating factor, so our employees have access to some special stuff.
And why launch the external store? What's your hopes and dreams for that, I guess, and what do you hope people will really engage with there?
Yeah, well, like I said, we've had the merch site since 2020. Of course, there's a different merch site, but we've had one since 2020, and we just find that people love the merch. People on our social media love it. We do a bunch of giveaways. If you go to the Drink Milo's Instagram page, we do giveaways really every month, giving away different merch offerings we have. So people just love merch. We found that our fans are really, really, it's a little bit of a cult following. People love Milo's. They love the tea and lemonade, and they want to wear the merch. So something we discovered and why we want to keep an external site.
I love that. So what's your biggest sellers? What's doing well right now?
Yeah, so we just launched this polo for Father's Day, and the first few days, I saw them coming through over and over again. So the polos have done really well. I know our crew neck sweatshirts are really popular. Our hats always do well. And then I believe on the internal site, some of our drinkware items have done really well.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Can you talk more about how this store is different from the one you launched initially in 2020 and, how you've optimized it, what changes you've made?
Yeah, so this current site that we have, when you click onto it, it looks like a very modern site that you would see on any other company's homepage. So it looks really clean. It operates really well. It's very clear and to the point. Checkout process is streamlined, so it's pretty easy to go through. You add the things to your cart, you hit checkout, and then at checkout, everything is listed right there. It has your address, your discount codes, your email address, your payment options. So super easy checkout process. And then it has very clean headers up at the top where you can also custom add headers. So if you have on the back end, Swag Pro has headers at the top, and then it has these custom headers that you can actually type in and add. So I've done that. I'll pull up the external site since that's kind of what we promote on our social media and what's available to the public. So I'll share my screen. Okay. Awesome. Can you guys see that?
I can, yes.
Yeah, so when you log in or when you access the site, this is the first thing you see. Swag Pro made it super easy in terms of having all of the writing on the site, the colors, the logos you see in the top corner, the hero image on the right, made it super easy to add. There's even a featured product section down here below. So you can see some of our options that we have here for our sweatshirts that we have. And then you come up to the top, we have an all products header at the top where you can click and see everything that we have to offer. And then you can go into, we decided to have an apparel section. So apparel is kind of what you would expect. T-shirts, pullovers, the polo that I mentioned we just added. Then we have the accessories here. And accessories, we have our hats, drinkware, backpack coolers, totes, all of that kind of stuff. So a lot of cool stuff in the accessories area, and we're always looking to do more, having some LTOs that we're doing as well throughout different seasons. So, but the site, like I said, super easy to use, self-explanatory. You see an item you like, click on it, add it to your cart, and you're good to go. Go to checkout and finish the checkout. So super easy site, super intuitive.
Excellent job building that. It just strikes me as super easy to navigate. It's really so clean. You can see the images really clearly. It's very easy to add things to your cart to favorite them, as you mentioned. So, I mean, it looks like just a great experience all around.
It is, yes.
Wonderful. And what's your personal favorite item?
Oh, personal. Well, I think what I have on, I love polos, and having a Milo's polo that is fun and trendy, like, this is awesome. Like, it's like our description says, a fresh take on a classic. Like, you can't go wrong with a polo, and the Milo's polo is just, it's awesome.
It's so great for Father's Day too. I really love that tie-in. And can you speak just really briefly about maybe the seasonal aspect of some of these items and campaigns that you're running?
Yeah, for sure. So when we launched the site, we took a look at what do we want to launch through the years. So what we've done historically is we kind of have our merch items, and it kind of is what it is throughout the year. And we said, this is something we want to change. We want to have something that people are looking forward to. We want fresh offerings that are coming throughout the year. And so we'll have some launches in, I believe, September, and then in the holiday season again at the end of the year. And so we have some items that aren't yet in stock, but we want people to know they're coming. So I added a coming soon part up at the top that you can click into. So it's stuff like that that makes it really nice to use. It gives it a really good user interface, and I think people have an easy time navigating the site, getting things to check out and completing their checkout.
Very good. So it sounds like you had a really good experience with the UI. Can you talk about just what the process was like of migrating the store and switching over from a different platform?
Yeah, so migrating the store was pretty easy. I think a lot of the items that we have now are new for us. So we have what we call kind of legacy items that were on the previous merch site. Most of the, I would say probably 90% of the items on the merch site currently are new. So that was, we didn't fully migrate everything, but the items that we did, I want to say we had a handful of items that we did migrate over. It was pretty easy. We followed the instructions that were on the back end of the Swag Pro portal, told us exactly how to go through the process, how to ship them in, how to label them, all of that. And then once they have been received, or once they've gotten to Swag Pro, they've all been kind of received and added to the site within, I want to say, a week or two. So it's been a pretty easy process to send over those legacy merch items that we've had.
I'm glad that was easy for you. Is that something that you worked hard with your account manager on?
Yeah, so there's a lot of collaboration early because just learning the process. It's something new that we have to go through. And so working with Brooke to help understand exactly what I needed to do, how to get to the finish line of that. But now that she's taught me and I've learned, I just sent some items in a week or two ago, and I don't think I had to ask for any help. I knew exactly how to do it. So once you do it the first time, it's pretty easy.
Awesome. Very cool. And Brooke, not to put you on the spot, but yeah, I would sort of love to get your perspective on like working with Matthew on that.
Oh, Matthew's a delight to work with. He had a clear vision of what they were looking for. He was really dialed in on what the vision was going to look like for this, was open to feedback, brainstorming, just really simple process. We had weekly meetings for a while to make sure everything was on track, multiple trackers, very organized. He made my job easy during the store setup process.
And how long did it take? Question for both of you, I guess. Any challenges along the way that you worked together to solve?
Yeah, so setting up the merch site, I guess, from start to finish. Okay. Yeah, so I think we maybe did it a little bit abnormally. Like we took a slow approach to it. I think we approached Swag Pro back in maybe October, somewhere in there, September, October, just to start the cause to understand what capabilities were. And we initially had the launch set for April. I think we had it set for the beginning of April, but we ended up launching in mid-April. We just wanted a little more time to refine some things. But it was pretty easy. I mean, we had some issues with sourcing certain items or getting the design we wanted, but Swag Pro is super helpful in finding us maybe alternative options that would have worked better. One that comes to mind is the Awala we have. We went through probably 3 different options. The first 2, Awala just didn't have availability. So we had to pivot to new options, but we ended up getting a fantastic option we want on the site. So Swag Pro was super helpful of getting us through obstacles that we encountered along the way.
Nice, nice. And do you think it would have been a lot harder without having a partner to help you in the process? Why is it important in your opinion to have not just a vendor, but a partner who's really going to be invested in your success?
Yeah, 100%. The whole time along the way, I felt like Brooke cared about what we were trying to do. She wanted to hit our goals, hit our deadlines. She wanted a successful launch for not just Milo's, but for me personally. So she was so helpful in getting everything exactly how we wanted it along the way. I think it's super important to have a partner that doesn't just see you as like another number, another company. It seemed like Swag Pro genuinely cared about us and wanted us to have a successful launch. So just grateful to have a partner instead of just another vendor.
That's really wonderful. And how was the kickoff process like working with Brooke? How did she kind of understand your needs and what was it like at the start of the relationship?
Yeah, so I think we had a bunch of calls just trying to figure out exactly what we wanted, how we wanted to do it. When did we want to launch? What was feasible in terms of launch? So I think there were just a lot of those. We set the foundation early. I think Brooke helped a lot with helping us understand what can we do and what can't we do. What is a good timeline to shoot for, and then just helping source the items and figure out what we wanted. I think we initially started out with something like 60 to 75 items that we were looking at doing. And Brooke helped us in narrowing that list down to, I think we got down to around 25 items at launch. So super helpful through that process as well.
That's really incredible. And what was it like for you, Brooke, kind of doing the intake with Matthew?
It was fairly easy. They came prepared. They had a background with a merch store, having one previously. So we had a strong foundation to build off of. They came in with estimated timelines, like Matthew mentioned, a long list of items. We were able to collaborate really easily. We were able to arrange for blank samples and then also printed samples of the different items just to make sure everything met their expectations. We had the weekly meetings that I mentioned. Also, once items are in production and we were getting close to the launch date, to help make sure that Matthew was giving visibility to his teammates, we provided weekly updates, or bi-weekly updates actually, on what items were in production, what were in transition to our fulfillment center, which items were delivered and in process of being received, and then were actually received. So one of the things that I think made this process so smooth was the great communication between both teams.
Absolutely. It's a two-way street with customers for sure. So we really appreciate you being so engaged and involved in the process, Matthew. And so let's talk about results. I know it's hard to talk about sometimes, but it's important. So tell us what results you've seen so far, any KPIs that you're tracking that might help our audience do the same with their stores.
Yeah, so I know one thing at Milo's is brutal honesty. Like we want to be honest with the facts, with feedback on how different projects have gone. And so people at Milo's are not afraid to tell you how they feel about different projects and how different things have gone. And so a good note is we've really not gotten much feedback. People really have not had any issues with the site. I think it's been pretty easy for everybody to use. It's super self-explanatory once you get in the site. So that it's been so smooth. We've not had complaints from external users. We've not had complaints from internal users. There might be some training opportunities that I've had to help people understand how to do certain things on the site. But other than that, it's been so smooth. Really no complaints at all. In terms of KPIs and things we want to monitor, we're actually just starting this week to have a conversation about looking into some data of who's using our merch site, how often are people using it, what items are doing the best, all of that. So that's to come. I think we're still around 2 months from launch. So still very much learning about how the site's performing and whatnot.
Definitely. It's an iterative process, but that's great that you're asking those questions and thinking along those lines. And what do you intend to do with that data when it becomes available?
Yeah, well, we want to use it to understand how can we better promote our merch on our social media channels and internally, and then what items are people gravitating towards. So what items can we produce more of and maybe different iterations of, and what items do we need to move away from? Are there items that people don't seem to care about? Maybe they don't like the design on it, they don't like the item itself or the cost on it. So trying to figure out what are people wanting and giving them more of that versus items that people are tending to gravitate away from.
That's a great point. People vote with their dollars, so you can't get much clearer data than that. And you mentioned doing some giveaway campaigns on social media and such, correct? And why is that beneficial from a marketing standpoint, and how has that kind of increased marketing efforts?
Yeah, well, I think there's an engagement part above everything else. So people are interacting. The way we do it is we say, like the post, comment down in the comments and tag a friend in the comments, and each tag is an entry. And so getting people to get engaged and get involved on our posts is really cool. And then having awesome items on our merch site to promote, to give away, that people will want to engage so they can have a chance at getting these different items is important as well. So we've seen a lot. Our social media engagement has grown a lot over the past few years while we've been doing the giveaways and whatnot. And then of course they'll comment more if the merch is better, if they like what they're seeing.
Yeah, so you would say that investing more in merch has really driven social media engagement and drawn more traffic to your pages?
I think so. I'm not the social media manager at Milo's, but I know our social media has grown, and I do think that part of that has been our merch.
That's so fantastic. And what advice would you have for newer people building stores and maybe new customers of Swag Pro, or people who are thinking about launching a store?
Yeah, so I think having an understanding of the items that you actually want on your site, if you've previously had a site, getting that historical data of what people are purchasing is really important when you're trying to decide what you want to add to this new site. And if you don't have that data, I would say try to keep your selection small, right? Like I think when we had originally got started, we we were a little we were ambitious. We had a bunch of items. Like I said, I think we started with some around 70 items, which is, in my opinion, it's too many. Like you just need to start a little smaller, see what people like, and you can always grow your selection. So I think that's what we really strive to do is understand what do our associates want, what do the external users want, and we tried to come up with a curated list of items that we thought people would really want to purchase.
I like that advice. No, thank you for sharing that. I think it is very key to be intentional about the items that you're putting out there. And yeah, maybe don't go too crazy too fast, but like you said, just kind of see what people respond to and iterate from there and just be very strategic about it. I love it.
Yeah. And it's
And
easy to go overboard. I mean, when you're looking at the catalog, it's like, oh, this would be awesome, this would be awesome, this would be awesome. But it's, like we just said, you want to have that curated list because sometimes people can get paralyzed by options. If they only have a couple hats to pick from, a couple polos, a couple shirts, it makes it easier on the user sometimes in picking what they want instead of having, a million options.
that is very true. The psychology of choice is important to remember. So to give people endless options, that makes it harder on them sometimes. So that's excellent, excellent advice. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Matthew. I think there was a lot of great information in here, and congrats on the success of your launch. We're really excited to see what happens in the future and help you curate more amazing items. And it is so important to have a store like this for an iconic brand like Milo's.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's been a great time partnering with you guys.
Amazing. Anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, and now we'll take some questions. Hi, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. Let's give Matthew a round of applause for that beautiful looking store. Great job. I always love seeing it. So yeah, we're an open book. Any questions for myself, for Matthew, for Brooke? She's the product expert on board here. So yeah, we'd love to hear what's on your mind and any feedback you guys have on the store itself and what you just watched. Feel free to pop it in the chat and we'll take questions as they come. Any thoughts on the store, what you liked, what you think could be improved? Yeah, okay. So Andrew says the store looks great. For Jennifer and Brooke, what happens if a company already has existing swag or custom items produced elsewhere? Can Swag Pro warehouse and distribute non-catalog inventory alongside items ordered directly through the platform? That's a great question, Andrew. Thank you so much for asking that. And absolutely, we can. So we have a process called CSOs or customer sourced orders, where even if you didn't buy the items from us, you can send them to our warehouse and we can ship them directly to your events, to your customers, to your remote employees, wherever they need to go. So yes, the short answer is we can absolutely do that for you. And any other context, Brooke, that you would like to add there and why people might want to be interested in that?
Yeah, Matthew kind of alluded when they switched over, they had already pre-purchased the inventory, so it's a great way to use up maybe items as you're transitioning to Swag Pro. You can still offer any branded items that you have within our store to use up that inventory before moving on to purchase new items.
Definitely. So we really do encourage people to use our CSO process. It makes it easier, if you are kind of shipping other items to events or if you want to kind of mix and match your swag maybe from a previous vendor and you're switching over to our platform, it does make it easy to keep it all in one place and keep it in our warehouse. So definitely encourage you all to do that. So Ashley, thanks for the question. How are they handling the sales taxes, tax reporting for the sales? This has been a big concern for our finance and legal team. Excellent question. Matthew, do you have any color on that or any insight into how you guys are handling that process?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That would go through our accounting and finance team as well, so they would have the information on that. I'm not 100% certain on how we're handling that aspect of it.
Yeah, we can definitely get back to you, Ashley. I can do some research internally with our team. Brooke, I'm not sure if you've encountered that at all in your customer work, but we can definitely find an answer for you.
Yeah, we are a reseller, so we handle all of the taxes at this point for the items that are sold through the stores.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for that insight there. Appreciate it. And a question from Kat. What's an item you would love to see added to the Milo's merch store in the future? Oh, I love that one. Very fun question. Matthew, take it away.
Oh man, I don't know. There's a lot of things we've looked at doing. I know one area we've looked at is maybe since we do tea and lemonade, it's more kind of household items. So looking at doing some more items in the kitchen. We've looked at something I think could be really fun is like yard signs that you put out in your front yard. Like they stake into the ground. It's like a little flag. So maybe some items like that. Maybe some items that are around the house that you might would put in your kitchen or out front. Barbecue grilling, that kind of stuff. So that's where I'd like to see some items go.
That's such a cool idea with the yard signs. We have had some customers do that in the past, and I think it's so genius because it's just even more advertisement. It's like a
Yeah,
24/7 ad outside someone's home. So that's
exactly.
great. Would you chat with your designer about creating that, or I guess how would that work?
Yeah, I think working with Brooke and her team to source some items to get options for us to use, and then yeah, we would work with you guys with design, work with the team we have internally on design, and come up with something that would look awesome, and then produce it through Brooke and her team again.
That's such a great idea. Brooke, have you had other customers take advantage of the yard signs, or have you helped them source something like that in the past?
Not yet, but I have seen other customers within our network do yard signs. So very excited that Matthew just mentioned this. It's definitely something fun to loop back in and discuss and start to investigate options for.
Yeah, we can definitely do that for you. I have heard of other customers doing it successfully, so that's a fantastic idea. Question from Rebecca. Thank you. So Matthew mentioned adding a coming soon section to the site. How did they do that? Oh, great. Awesome. Do you want to chat us through that, Matthew?
Yeah, so when you're in the categories section of setting up your item, when you're assigning it to a category, you can add custom categories and actually have your own name for them. So if there's something that's not pre-populated there, you can create your own tag for them. So what I did is I just created a coming soon section, and then I'll put whatever we have that's, if I know we're going to launch it in a week and maybe we're teasing it on social media, we can create a coming soon section and I'll put it in there and let it sit in there for a little bit, let people get excited about it until we have it in inventory. And then, of course, we'll launch it and move it out of that coming soon section. So.
That's really great. And have you found that those items have been selling faster after that little promotion with it coming soon? Does it really whet people's appetite for those items?
I think it does. I don't have the data in front of me, but from if memory serves me correctly, items that we've done that with have done better than items that we've just kind of, I don't know the right word for it, just I guess hard launch that we just put out there versus having in that coming soon category.
Yeah, I love that. I think just kind of teasing people like a movie trailer, getting them excited for what's to come can be really
Yeah,
helpful. So yeah, I would recommend that everybody kind of takes time to do that and kind of promote items ahead of time too to get people excited and vote with their dollars. That's
yeah,
great.
of course.
Wonderful. And question from Natalie here. So big Milo's fan here. Awesome. Yeah, same. Everybody loves Milo's tea. So does Milo's have a consumer-friendly store for us to buy some swag? Absolutely. I know they have both internal and external. So go ahead, Matthew, if you want to direct people to that again or kind of, share more about what's going on with your external site.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have an internal site that has some items that are exclusive for our employees, and then we have an external site that is for everybody to use. So I can put the link in the chat, and people can then use that link and go check out our merch site and see everything we have there.
I love that. And also, do you ever have items up for a limited amount of time to kind of create more urgency around purchasing? Like, hey, this is only available for, the month of August or something of that.
We do. LTOs are something we're getting into. I think it might have been mentioned during the webinar portion, but in the past we've kind of just had items placed on our site and they're evergreen. But we're starting to get into LTO. We actually launched a couple items today that will be uh, they won't be there until winter because they're summer items. But we launched a beach towel and a pool float, so those just went live on our site. So super excited to have those there. There's a lot of work that went into having those created. So. But those are our newest LTO items, our pool float and beach towel.
Amazing. Who wouldn't want a Milo's pull float and a beach towel? You got to grab that. Grab that while it's hot. We only have a little bit of summer left. So, yeah,
Yeah,
let's all get out and enjoy the pool with it. I
yeah.
love it. Other questions while we have Matthew and Brooke online? These are great so far. Thank you guys so much for the really excellent questions. Nothing else? Okay, feel free to reach out to us if anything comes to mind. I'm sure Matthew would be keen to chat, and Brooke and I are always here to help. But thank you guys so much for joining, spending your afternoon with us. We appreciate it. And yeah, have a great rest of your Tuesday. Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.